All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Hope everyone's doing well and everyone's safe. Earlier today, Red Sox second baseman Dustin Pedroia formally announced his retirement from baseball. And we're happy to provide you all an opportunity not only to hear from Dustin, but to ask him some questions too. In addition to Dustin, though, I do want to mention that there are several other Red Sox executives and personnel on the line that can take your questions as well, including President and CEO Sam Kennedy, Chief Baseball Officer Chaim Bloom, General Manager Brian O'Halloran, and Manager Alex Cora. But before we begin with questions, I'd like to turn it over to Sam Kennedy, who's going to make a few opening remarks. Sam?
Thanks, KG. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Let me just echo what Kevin said. I hope you guys are all safe and healthy and hanging in there. Better days ahead. It's coming, we hope. It is an honor and a privilege for me to be representing our ownership group, John Henry, Tom Werner, Larry Lucchino, all of the members of the Fenway Sports Group partnership that have been privileged to be associated and affiliated with Dustin and Kelly and the whole family these past 2 decades. And it's a sad day for a lot of us who love him and love seeing him in uniform. But it's also a great day to bring closure to a Hall of Fame career in so many ways. And I was getting emotional reading all the quotes from Tito and John Farrell and Poppy and Pap and everyone who had a lot of great things to say about Dustin, and their words mean far more than anyone in the front office or in ownership, anything we could ever say, because I think you could tell from reading their quotes what kind of a teammate Dustin was, and that is the highest compliment that you can pay anybody. So I just thought I would share one little anecdote, if you'll bear with me, because Dustin, many of us in the front office probably are our all-time favorite for so many reasons, and there's so many PD stories. But the one story that came to mind last night, I was reminded by our former general manager, Theo Epstein, who had the good fortune of drafting PD back in 2004. And it's been a long time, about almost 20 years ago now. But we were in the front office, and we had kind of a running joke that, Theo was 28, 29 years old when he became GM, and he was always struck in 2003 when he would call a player and say that he'd been drafted by the organization because they would refer to him as Mr. Epstein. Thank you, Mr. Epstein, for the opportunity to play for the Red Sox. What an honor and a thrill. And coming into the 2004 draft, we obviously didn't pick until 65 or so, because I think BOH will correct me, but I think because of the Keith Falk signing. So we picked Dustin 65th, and Theo picks up the phone to give him a call and is expecting the kind greetings and respectful greetings. And Petey greets him with, "Bro, 65th? What took you so freaking long? I got to get to the big leagues, and I'm ready to win championships for the Red Sox." And I think that just encapsulates everything we know and love about Dustin Pedroia. The confidence, the attitude, the swagger, the passion, the grit, the determination. He is truly one of those players who made everyone around him better. The players, the people in the front office. Believe me, we've invested about $400 million into Fenway since we've been here to save it, and Petey's fingerprints are all over this place, whether it's the plunge pools in the clubhouse or the way you pull into the parking lot or the brand new pearls that we needed to give him for batting practice every day. Because you can't take batting practice with used baseballs. You know how that goes. He was unbelievable leader, teammate, member of our community, the most committed father you'll ever meet to Dylan and Cole and Brooks. And we are just so grateful for his time in a Red Sox uniform. And the fact that he's a Red Sox for life means a lot to us in the organization as a player. And now as we go forward, we're looking forward to him staying with the club in whatever form that may take, whenever he's ready, however he wants to do it, whether it's owner, CEO, general manager, he'll tell us what he wants to do, and whatever it is, he'll be good at it. So, Petey, congratulations. We are so appreciative of everything you've done. Thank you for establishing a championship culture in Boston, and we look forward to our ongoing relationship. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Sam. All right, at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Justin Long, who's going to moderate today's call. And just a reminder, we are asking everyone to use the raise hand feature. Thanks. Justin?
Once again, if you plan on asking a question, please use the raise hand function. Please also change the way your name is displayed so that we can properly identify you. Thank you, everyone. And our first question will come from Dan Roach.
Hey, Petey, how you doing?
Good.
Congratulations on a great career. Just a simple question. What did it mean to you to put on a baseball uniform as a big leaguer every day, play for the Boston Red Sox every day, show up at the park at 2 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game every day? What did it mean to you to play for the Boston Red Sox and your entire MLB career?
I've had a lot of emotions, obviously, lately. But coming down to it, I look back and think how lucky I was for all of it. Where I grew up in Woodland, California, the way I was taught how to play baseball, then getting a scholarship to Arizona State and having the best coaches there, and then getting drafted by the Red Sox. Coming from California, I didn't know a lot about the organization or Boston or anything. But once I got drafted and saw the way that the people treat you Brad Pearson picked me up at the airport. He's my head trainer, and we've been through so much together too. Everybody throughout the way, I've spent almost half my life being a Red Sox, and I've played for one ownership group. The general managers in the front office, the people that have been there the entire time, those aren't just people that I worked for or whatever. Those people are family. The 4 managers I played for, all my infield coaches, my minor league coaches, everybody, my teammates. The Boston Red Sox to me is I can't even explain how much it means to me. It means everything. I started my family there. My kids were born in Boston. Every day I woke up looking to find a way to help our team win a baseball game. And I got to do it in front of the best fans in the best city. And I wish I enjoyed it a little more at the time because my mind was so focused on the task at hand that day and to try to win and to try to be the best, to make everyone around me be the best. But I don't have any regrets of anything. I never took one playoff from Little League on. So, that part it means a lot. And just being a Red Sox, to answer your question, finally, it means everything. Wearing that uniform is the best. At some point, obviously you can't play anymore, and this is the time. But being in that environment, I was lucky.
Next question comes from Johnny Miller.
Yes, Dustin, what are you most proud of in your years in Boston?
Hey, Johnny. Honestly, I'm most proud of the environment and culture that, we all helped build there, and the expectations. I know that the fan base and everything, it demands a lot, but as a player, you want to hold each other accountable, that every year your goal is to win the World Series. And that is what I'm most proud of, that there wasn't a single season that I showed up to Fort Myers that I didn't think our team could win the World Series. And I'm proud of that. And I think our front office and ownership should be proud of that. And all my teammates that I played with should be proud of that. There wasn't a time that we showed up, oh, we're just going to play baseball and have some fun. No, there was a goal every single year, and we all held each other accountable. And I'm proud that I was a part of help building that.
Next question comes from Pete Abraham.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, hey, Dustin, can you take us through kind of how this decision came to be? And, from a life standpoint, you're still a young guy. Well, what are your plans now that you're done playing?
All right. Good to see you, Pete. Well, last January, I was kind of, not this one, the one before, going into 2020. I was still working out, still trying to get ready to come back and play. And I woke up one morning and my knee was huge. And I went and saw the doctors, everything, and everything it looked like an explosion went off in there. So I was told that I needed to get a partial knee replacement. I researched the team helped me research all the doctors and everybody to find out who the right one was. And by the time that happened, that I was going to have that surgery, the pandemic hit and that kind of, set everything back a lot. So, it got to a point where finally surgeries opened back up. And in December, I had a partial knee replacement. I spent most of the year last year. I'm glad none of you guys got a chance to see me. I wasn't in a good place. I couldn't, I grinded every day just to be able to play with my kids and just live a normal life. My knee was bad and I'm a young guy. So December I had the surgery, and a week later I could tell that I could walk without pain. I could basically do everything now except run. I can't run anymore. Which is fine. I don't need to run. But so once I had the surgery, obviously doctors and no one has ever played with a partial knee replacement, because the fear of, it breaks and, the rest of my life would be severely impacted by it. So, obviously the team has been unbelievable with me throughout this process. I think the hardest part is I felt like I was in my prime and understanding how to play the game as I got older. 2016 was one of my best years, and then the first month of 17 I was rolling right along, and one play kind of derailed a lot of that and threw all of us in a pattern that we were trying to find a way to get out of. And after all of our trainers and doctors and everybody, we would go, we've seen everybody, and we did it together, and we heard the news that it wasn't possible to play with this. So, when the cards are stacked against you, we all tried to do everything possible to be able to continue to play. And I'm proud of that. And I'm proud that the way that the trainers helped me, our doctors, everybody. But it wasn't physically possible for me to continue to play baseball with a partial knee replacement. So, once I got that done, I knew, and the team has been great at leading me in the right directions on things to do and how to get better and just to be better for my everyday life, because, I'm only 37 years old and I got a long way to go.
Next question comes from Jason Mastrodonato.
Hey, Dustin. I know you've never been the kind of guy to look back and kind of reflect. You're always like in the moment. But now that you have a chance to, how do you view your career in terms of, do you think about the Hall of Fame? Do you think about how people are going to remember you? What do you think about when you look back that way?
I honestly don't think of any of that. I think my main focus the last year was, did I do enough in my environment to make a difference on people or my teammates? If I did that, I did my job. That was the only thing, I mean, that I thought of. As I got older, I had a lot of young guys. A lot of the core of our team was younger, and Bogey, Mookie, Vasquez, Jackie. We had a lot of young guys, and at that time, it was my job to help them come along and teach them the things that I was taught when I was a young player from our veteran players. And I just think I just hope that I did enough, in their careers that helped them in the long run. And I hope I did enough and set the right example in the city of Boston. That's it. I don't care if, what I hit or, obviously I'm very, I got some pretty good one-liners. So if somebody thinks I wasn't very good, I'll definitely tell them that I was good. So, but I just wanted to make sure that I did enough and I set the right example for the people that I love.
Next question comes from Rob Bradford.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Rob. What do you got? Dial up?
Don't worry about it. AOL. How did you tell the kids? And was that a tough conversation?
Well, I think they've been through, my children have been through, and my wife have been through a lot. They've seen me through 6 surgeries, they've seen me through a lot. And, I was having a tough time up until, my middle son, Cole, that they wanted me to coach his baseball team. And I think, sorry for getting a little choked up, but, that got me through the next step of understanding that, hey, there's something else I'm going to be able to do. And I'm good at it. Coaching the kids and just telling them I think they were happy that they get their dad to be home all the time. They need me. So, it was hard, but I just don't want them to see me having more surgeries and not being able to walk or get my oldest son's rebounds and stuff like that. So, now it's good. I'm in a good place. I can move. I can get a rebound now and just pass it to him and stand there without hurting. I don't have to ice my knee all day long to make it not look like a basketball. So I'm in a good place. But telling them, they're happy that I'm here and with them and being able to affect their lives and coaching their teams and trying to help them with homework. I'll tell you what, some of their stuff, it's pretty advanced. That Arizona State education, I need to talk to somebody about that. But it's great being here with them and being in their life.
Next question comes from Tom Karen.
Hey, Dustin, congratulations on the career. The last few years have been such a grind for you. You did, 9 games? You probably worked harder for those 9 games than you did your entire career before that. The finality of this, has that allowed you to look back on the whole career now and get out of the grind of just trying to be on the field and appreciate what you've been able to accomplish?
Yeah, I mean, the things that, I was able to do, if you look back at when I was drafted by the Red Sox, if you would have said, I did all these things, I'd think you're nuts. So I'm proud of everything. I really am. Every part of it. But I wouldn't be able to do that without the support system, from my parents and all my coaches. I learned from everyone. I was always the first one to the field, and that's because I needed to be. I needed to learn from whoever. Didn't matter if it was, a clubhouse guy, the way he treated somebody, or anybody. Rem was always in the clubhouse talking baseball, and I'm the first one to listen. So I look back and on my career, and every single person in the organization played a part in any of the stuff that I did. I read the press release, and I'm like, man, every single minor league coach I had, clubhouse guy, trainer, everyone had an impact in my career. And, I'm proud of every single part of it.
Thanks.
Next question comes from Joe McDonald.
Hey, Dustin, congratulations, man.
Thanks, Joe.
You mentioned the minors. Just what impact did it have for you to develop in the Red Sox organization for you to have the type of career that you'd had in the big leagues?
It was huge. I mean, I came from Arizona State, and I mean, when I was younger, I was a little bit different, even more than I am now. But I thought, I should have went college to the big leagues, and that's really not possible. But once I got drafted and I got there and I started playing, I realized that, everyone told me the first couple levels that, hey, this is how you're supposed to play, you're supposed to develop. And I think in my mind, I always thought I was already developed. And I'm already ready for the next thing. But I think once I got to AA is where I started to learn pro ball and how to play a long season and how to deal with failures, every day or day in and day out stuff. And once I got to AAA with RJ, who we just lost, he really taught me, how to deal with everything. You're going to have times in a season where you're cold. You're going to have, just the ups and downs. I needed that because, I had never gone 3 games without getting a hit. And in the minor leagues, you do that. You do it all. It's baseball. So all the stuff that I learned in the minor leagues prepared me for, the craziness to get to Boston. And once I got there, I struggled when I started the first part, and I leaned on the struggles that I had in the first couple months in AAA. That helped me get through it. Is, I'm a week away from exploding, and that's what I just kept telling myself, because that's what RJ told me. He called me Spud. He's like, you're right there. You're a week away from getting there. I'm like, all right. So that was beaten into me throughout the minor leagues, and it carried with me, to the end of my career. And I would always tell guys that, if certain guys are struggling, you just drop a line to them here and there that gets them back on track. The game is so mental that, you need to rely on your teammates. You need to lean on every single person in your organization. If you're going to be great, this is what you need to do. So the minor leagues was a huge part in my success as a major leaguer.
Next question comes from Steve Buckley.
You guys hear me okay?
Yeah. How you doing, Steve?
I'm doing fine, Dustin. Congratulations on a great career. You mentioned earlier that you're 37 years old, which for everyone else in this room is a very young age. In baseball, obviously, it's different. Have you given any thought yet? And if you have, share it with us on what's next, both in terms of your personal life and your career and employment and adventures, vacations, anything that you've been thinking about.
Honestly, I mean, you know me, I'm worried about my middle son's flag football practice at 4. But start there. Obviously I'll be in the game somehow. I'm always going to be around. I'm always here for everybody in the Red Sox organization. They've done so much for me. Right now my youngest son is 6. So, I definitely want to be involved. But I don't know what capacity yet. But when I think all my boys are out of the house, that's when things will change to, more of a greater role, with the organization. Just right now I want to enjoy, being a dad and having fun with my boys and just being here, not worrying about rehabbing all day long or worried about what game we're playing or things like that. I just want to just be normal for a little bit, but when that time comes, and when it's time, it's 100% into whatever I choose to do.
So if I may, if you were to wait for your youngest kid to be out of the house, that's 10 or 11 years from now. So
Yeah.
So what you're saying is it'll be a while before you would entertain any full-time coaching or managing opportunity, or are you open to that?
I mean, I'm open to anything, but I mean, I want to make sure that my kids have the same upbringing that I had when I was a kid. And I want to, coaching and or managing that's a lot of time. And I've just done, I've played a long time and I was the first one in the field every single day. And I want to make sure that these years for my kids are the most important, and I'm there in every single way. I don't want to miss a thing in their life. They deserve that.
Thank you.
You got it, Steve.
Next question comes from Sean McAdam.
Congratulations. I'm wondering, you obviously have been dealing with a number of physical issues for a long time. You chronicled them, and it seemed like the knee replacement thing was finally the thing that convinced you that the end was near. I was wondering if you could talk about maybe the finality of that, when when you finally acknowledged that you couldn't play anymore. What was that like? And based on your remarks just a minute ago, where you're talking about not having to devote all your time to rehab and getting better, as sad as it was, was it also something of a relief to know that part was behind you?
Yeah, I mean, the first part of your question, I wasn't more concerned about the baseball part of I can't play. I couldn't do much for my everyday life. And that was frustrating. If I would, go to one of my son's game and just stand there for an hour, I had to ice my knee all day long. I couldn't get up. I couldn't move. I couldn't walk. It was too much. My leg wouldn't even straighten out. It was bad. So I think the first part for me was to be able to just function, to move, to walk, to do normal stuff. My kids' bedrooms are upstairs. I couldn't even walk up the stairs. So I think once I got the replacement and I saw the effects that it took to just remove the damage of that part of my knee, and I could do that again, then it hit me that, I'm going to be okay. I don't have any regrets, and that's what I'm proud of is, yeah, could it have ended better and I finished my career the right way? Yeah, of course. But there was a reason why I was the first one dressed at 5:30 for a 7:00 game. I always tell my teammates, you never know if the game was going to start early, right? But my biggest thing in my mind was, this could be my last game. You don't know. And that's the way I approached it from Little League on. I played every game like it was my last one. So, I had the best time playing, meeting everybody, meeting all you guys. I mean, meeting everyone, my teammates, the people I met. I have friends in Venezuela. I have friends everywhere because of baseball. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of every single step that my baseball career had to offer.
Next question comes from Alex Spear.
Hi, Dustin. How are you?
Alex.
Good to see you. So thinking back to 2006, when you did make it up to the big leagues, what are your memories of, beyond some of the struggles you mentioned, what do you remember about that time? And after you answer that, I want Alex to remember to share his first memories of you when you came up in 06.
Well, when I first got called up, we had just lost 5 games to the Yankees. And I met the team in Anaheim, and I remember walking in there. I was the happiest kid on the planet. And I remember getting in there, and it was not a good environment. Everyone was upset. They just got beat bad. They went from like a game out to, it was bad. And I remember thinking, man, I can't wait to play tonight. We're going to turn this thing around. That was my first thought. So I played here and there. I think I played 18, 19 games the rest of the way. A lot of veterans on that team. But I was just happy, and I learned that, hey, I could play here. It might take some time for everyone to get used to what kind of attitude I bring every day, because it's a little bit different. I mean, I'm showing up to win every day, and I know everyone else is, but there's, I just didn't want to step on anybody's toes. When I think I was 22 years old or 23, I don't even remember, but I was ready to take off. And it took me time for that to happen.
And Alex, if you could weigh in on what you remember about Dustin in 06.
I think his first at bat, he hit a laser, right? And with the bases loaded, that was your first at bat. I mean, we saw a guy that he gets it, and like I said earlier today, I thought I was passionate. I thought, I love the game more than anybody else, but he beat me to the spot. This kid, like Kelly texted me this morning, right? It became full circle. I saw his first at bat and his last one, and I'm glad that he was part of my life. I'm glad that I was a teammate of him. I learned so much from him, and the reason I'm here, with the Red Sox and the person that I am and the passion that I have, he's part of it, and we learned so much from him in 06. We learned a lot more in 07, from all his struggles to what he did against Cleveland in Game 7 to first pitch homer in the World Series. It was amazing, and he talks about the laser show and all the talk. I know Petey how he is, but I had a front seat to see the laser show, and it was amazing. It was fun to watch, and I always said that people like Dustin, they're great players, but they're a better person, and he knows what we've been through, from the family standpoint, from friendship and all that. He knows what he means to us, and I'm glad that I was part of that, and I'm very proud of him.
Next question comes from Chad Jennings.
Hey, Dustin. I think now we can probably better appreciate just how injured your knee was in 17. But you hit almost 300 that year.
Yeah.
I guess the question is how did you do that, and how much more of a grind was that season than the ones before?
That was it was tough. Your mind takes over. That was some of the worst pain, day in and day out. It was tough. I played 2013. I tore my UCL on my thumb on opening day, and I played the whole year that year. And that was like a massage compared to this one. This was, I don't know how I did that. I just know that our trainers, our doctors, my teammates, they're, pretty powerful people that could push you to do something, and I had to be out there for them. That's the way I looked at it is 50% of me is can find a way to help us win a game. And I knew it's funny that I remember that when I got the first MRI after that play, it was the doctor said, "Hey man, you could ruin not only your career, but the rest of your life with this injury. You tore all the cartilage off on your medial compartment, on your femur and your tibia. Your cleat just got stuck, and it's a bad deal." And I said, "Well, can I play?" And he goes, "Yeah, you could try to." He goes, "It's going to go. When it goes, you'll know." And so, I just remember everyone there saying, "Hey, we need you." So, it was a no-brainer. If I had to do it all over again, it wouldn't even be questioned. Of course I would, you do the things that you can for your teammates, and you play to win. That's sports. And, it's pretty painful, but we got through it. We didn't win that year, but, I think it led up to the next year of, the way guys look at playing through pain and through injury, and that helped a lot in 18 of our younger guys seeing that, hey, if you want to be a champion, you got to go through things to get there. This isn't all, you just show up, throw your gloves out there and play. You got to, it hurts. There's going to be physical pain for you to do that. And our guys went through that the next year and look what happened. So I'm proud of every part of playing through, what I did.
Next question comes from Matt Vautour.
Dustin, somewhere in your house or wherever, what mementos, what souvenirs did you save? What things from your career were special to you that are either hanging or someplace that were kind of pieces of your career that you wanted to have with you and remember?
I got stuff everywhere. I mean, I got a batting cage that looks like Fenway. I'm reminded every day, of how special it was to be a Red Sox. I mean, once I put my feet on the ground, I know, it's the first thing that enters my mind. I have a scar from my shin all the way up to my quad. But, I have stuff everywhere of little things that, I got one of John Lester's gloves from 2013. I got stuff from everyone. Just little things. I mean, I got stuff from David and Napoli and Mikey Lowell. He doesn't know about. No, I got stuff from everyone. And it means the world to me. I got a chance to play with some special people. And everyone's still close to today. I mean, it's playing for the Red Sox. It's a family, and it's family for life. So, it's pretty special.
All right, we have time for just a few more questions. The next question comes from Duke Castiglione.
Hey, Dustin, Duke Castiglione, Channel 5. What do you want Red Sox fans to remember most?
I don't know. I mean, I just hope I set the right example for their kids or anyone. I mean, I just hope I played the game the right way and they could look back on my career and say, man, he did everything he could for his team. And, that's it. I mean, that's what I care about. And I hope I did that. I mean, that's all that when I started playing is play every game as hard as I can, play to win. And that's it. I didn't play for anything else other than winning and winning with your teammates. That's it. That's all the reason why I played team sports. I mean, one of my greatest liners is I like playing team sports. It's the best when you win with them. If I didn't like doing that, I'd have just been the best tennis player in the world or just played an individual sport. But team sports is definitely the reason, why you play. And I hope that they remember me as doing all I can to set the right example.
The next question comes from John Tomasi.
Hey, Dustin, I'm curious. You mentioned the one play, in 2017. Are you at peace with that play? Is there resentment towards that play? Just how do you, when you think back to that really was the turning point, how do you grapple with that now?
I mean, no, I don't. Listen, I'm not upset about anything anymore. I mean, that play could have happened to me my rookie year. When you play second base and you play second like me, you hang on the last possible second to get the ball. Because I mean, you watched it. If there's a slim chance at a double play, there's one guy on planet Earth that could turn it, and you're talking to him. So, it happened. Unfortunately, I just got caught in a wrong position, and that was it. But I think I'm at peace with everything, knowing that me and the training staff and our doctors did everything we possibly could have to try to continue to play baseball. And it's not, we made it back. I played 9 games, and when 90% of the doctors said there's 0 chance that you could play. So I'm proud of that. You know, the way it ended, I mean, it ended that way, you know, and that's okay. I just hope I did enough during the time that I had to play, to impact, you know, everyone. And that's the only thing I care about.
And just one quick follow-up. Was there any part of you that hoped against hope that somehow maybe you could have that David Wright kind of send off, even if it was just one more chance to be in uniform in front of the fans and say goodbye that way?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, obviously I would love to play. You know, I'd love to put the uniform on and be able to play. I mean, you got to understand, they're the best fans ever. I mean, on a Tuesday night or whatever, there's 37,000 people that are going crazy. And I got a chance to do that for as long as I did. You know, to do it one more time, I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, I'd do anything to have that opportunity. You know, but I can't run. And that part will always hurt me, is that, you know, I wish I had one more time, but I don't regret anything, you know? So it is what it is, you know, and I'm okay. You know, now I just have to have everything that I've learned and built up, and all the energy I have to give it to other people now. And that's how I could help. You know, but, you know, I'm okay.
Final question comes from Chris Ryan.
Hey, Dustin, congrats on a great career. Wanted to ask you how much, you know, introspection there's been on all these different topics over the last couple of years. It seems like you've thought out a lot of, you know, these things, and also being away from the game. You were a guy that loved the game so much, was there early, as you mentioned before, and your entirety of your focus and being was on, you know, each night. Has that been harder or easier to be away from the game than maybe you expected when thinking about walking away? Thanks.
Well, I mean, I think I was away, but I was always there, you know, in communication with a lot of people. I mean, there was, you know, from that last January on, I mean, there was, every day I would break down, you know, it was tough. You know, I didn't try to show it with my wife or kids. You know, I just go in the bathroom and kind of chill for a little bit and break down, because it's hard when your entire life, you know, I mean, shoot, when I was in Little League, I would get ready at 5 a.m. for a noon game. Like, I did this my entire life, and to have it just stop, and then you fight to get it back, you know, it's tough. But, you know, everybody that was around me knows that how hard I worked to try to get back. And, you know, that's enough for me. You know, it's, you know, now I just want to be healthy. I want to impact, you know, the younger generation with the stories I have and the things that I've gone through, and the adversity that I've dealt with. You know, that's what I'm supposed to do now. And, you know, I look forward to it.
All right. Thanks, Dustin. And thank you, everyone, for joining us this afternoon. We appreciate it. Stay safe, stay warm, and get ready to shovel. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
You, Dustin.
All right.